Hey, good evening. It's Dr. Denise Dennis, and I want to talk to you tonight. I've been kind of sharing with you about lead magnets, and I wanted to focus in tonight specifically on those of you who are life coaches and give you some tips on the kinds of lead magnets that you could potentially create as a life coach. First of all, when I say lead magnet, just want to make sure everybody knows what I mean. The lead magnet is that ethical bribe. It is that freebie that you give away in exchange for someone's name and email address so that you can build your list. And so I decided to do this one specifically for life coaches because that's actually my background is in coaching, life, leadership, business coaching. That's actually what I started doing in my business years ago was doing that, and have worked with a variety of people, a variety of clients doing life coaching and leadership coaching and business coaching, and then totally moved away from that into doing automation, which is what I do now. But I serve the people that are in the same business that I used to be in. So I serve the life coaches, leadership coaches, consultants, speakers, authors, that sort of that whole group. So I wanted to give you some ideas of what you could use as a lead magnet. Because again, that tends to be that's that jumping off point. It's that thing that people kind of struggle with of what could I create that would be a good free thing to give away. So I want to talk through 10 ideas of things that you may want to use. So number one, the first one would be a checklist, but specifically a checklist for creating a stress-free life. So what would go into, if you then brainstorm, what could go into, what do you need to have a stress-free life? So maybe it is take time out for self-care, be open and honest with the significant others in your life, remove the toxic relationships from your life, clean up your workspace, make sure you get a good night's sleep, make sure you drink plenty of water. Those kinds of things might be on a checklist. So again, number one, create a checklist for creating a stress-free life. That's one possible lead magnet. Idea number two is to create a cheat sheet. And a cheat sheet, hard to say, is really just a process guide of, do this, do this, do this, do this. And you're helping people go through that process. So what I would recommend is that you do a cheat sheet on how to have a difficult conversation. A lot of people struggle in their relationships with those difficult conversations. Whether if it's marriage, is probably about money. Friendships also have conflict, or you may struggle and need to have a conversation with a boss or a coworker. How do you have that conversation? And so, what you could offer as a life coach would be a step-by-step guide for how to have that difficult conversation with someone. Idea number three is to create, I'm calling it my favorite time management tools resource list. So think about what you as a life coach, or how you as a life coach might typically help your clients deal with time management issues. There are all sorts of time management apps. There are things you can put on your phone, things you can use on your computer. Maybe there are tangible items that somebody could have that would help them manage their time. Maybe it's a watch with a built-in timer, whatever it might be. What are some of those tools? And create that as a resource list. And then that becomes your freebie, your lead magnet. You could even, if there are items that someone could purchase through Amazon, for example, you could do affiliate links. And then that way, the lead magnet itself is something useful, but then also you get a little bit of a commission if somebody clicks on one of those links. So that's another potential lead magnet idea. Idea number 4 is a goal setting planner. So again, often with life coaches, one of the things you're doing with your clients is helping them set 90-day, 30-day, weekly goals, daily goals. So why not create a planner where they can write out, these are my 90-day goals, and this is how I plan to reach them, and these are the tasks I need to take. So create it as a blank worksheet that they can then download, fill out, and then you can follow up with people and potentially turn them into clients. Number 5 is a self-assessment workbook. So a lot of what we do, or what I used to do as life coaches, one of the first steps is helping the client get to know themselves better. And so the self-assessment is keeping track of, what are my strengths? What are my areas for development? And just doing that whole personal reflection piece. So why not create that as a workbook that someone could download, fill out, and already start thinking about those things even before they potentially become a client of yours. And that way they get a little bit more clarity before they even start. And then you can, as you continue nurturing them through their emails, they get more clarity, you build that relationship, and so on and so forth. Another tip is, so that was number 5. Number 6 would be, again, with vision board. Oh, well, hello. Good to see you, Anita. Another tip would be to create a vision board instruction and inspiration guide. So again, a lot of life coaches, I know I used to do this a lot. I would do a lot of vision board workshops. But of course, not everybody can come to you where you're doing a vision board workshop, but you still want to connect with people and help people learn how to do vision boards. So why not create a little instruction kit on how to do a vision board? And then you can even include in there, here are some of the inspirational sayings you may want to include, or here are some images you may want to include, and give them as much information as possible so that they can create a vision board. And then again, in the follow-up emails, you can talk with them about how using a vision board or creating a vision board isn't enough. You also need to learn how to put that into action, and then that can be part of that converting them into an actual client. Tip number 7, the number 7 in terms of types of list building lead magnets you might want to do, is to create a journal prompt. So you might come up with 52 ideas of journal prompts. These could be things that they could put into a weekly journal, or do 31 prompts and make it a daily journal prompt. But again, it's getting them engaged in something that's related to what you do in your actual business. Number 8 is an infographic. And an infographic just means a picture, a graph. I'm sure you've seen them. And you don't have to try to develop that yourself. Come up with the idea, and then that's the kind of thing you might, for example, want to hire somebody on through Fiverr to actually create it for you. But you just come up with the idea of perhaps the best ways to create a new habit. So what might that look like? Maybe it'll be write down your goals, take action on that habit every day for 60 days, visualize it every day. So maybe those are the ideas. And then you get somebody to make a pretty kind of picture that illustrates all of that. And then that becomes the download. Let's see. Number 9 would be to do an audio. So do an audio that is a guided meditation or several affirmations that you walk people through. And how do you do that? You go right to your phone, to the voice recorder, and you record the whole thing, upload it, and then it becomes something that people can download. Upload it to SoundCloud, and then people can access it And then again, that becomes another free download. And then number 10 would be an email course. So for example, 5 Steps to a New You. I'm just making up a title. But that sounds like a life coach kind of title of a course. So you could create, I think that actually is probably the simplest one to do. Create a series of 5 emails. That way you don't have to worry about graphics. You don't have to worry about anything. The whole thing is the content of the emails. And they would get an email from you a day for 5 days that would be related to, transformation and the things that you talk about with your clients as a coach. So that is 10 possible lead magnet ideas to help you grow your list as a life coach. Hopefully what you also see, for those of you that are listening that are not life coaches, you're getting ideas for how you can take these same ideas and apply it to your own field. All right, so I hope that was helpful. Again, I am Dr. Denise Dennis. I'm going to keep talking with you about lead magnets. I'll give you some other suggestions for other industries and some of my future lives. If you have questions about lead magnets, please do drop them in the comments and I'll be sure to answer them on future live. All right, thanks. Have a great evening. Hey.